Welcome back, my friends, to the Mail Right Real Estate Agent Podcast Show. This is episode 129, and I'm Thomas J. Nelson. I am a residential realtor here in San Diego, California, America's finest city. My co-host, Jonathan Denwood, is not with us today. But you know what? In his absence, I have a fantastic guest. On our show today is Jason Sheffield from BombBomb. He's the VP of Content Strategy, and I'm going to let Jason introduce himself and tell you a little bit, just a little tad of what BombBomb is, and then we'll get into some questions to open up that package more. Jason,
Awesome.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Excited to be here with you guys. As Thomas said, my name's Jason. Over here at BombBomb, our goal is helping you rehumanize digital communication, right? We communicate in a lot of different ways. A lot of times it's removing the person from that mode of communication. And so our goal is to give you tools and processes and systems that help bring you back into the message so that you're connecting with people in more meaningful ways, which leads to more meaningful business.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Just for practical purposes, in case people aren't familiar with your company, let's tell them the very basics. What is BombBomb? And we are saying what we would never say on an airplane, BombBomb.
Yes, it is BombBomb. It's not Bon Bon or Boom Boom, BombBomb. So at its most practical level, we are a tool that you can use that helps you send video out through email, social, and text. So through our system, you can send your videos out through your email system, whether that's one-to-one or one-to-many. Anything that you create inside of BombBomb, shareable onto social so that you get better engagement on that side of things. And through our mobile apps, you can actually text your videos right in line so that you get better engagement and guarantee that people can watch your videos because sometimes, if you're an iPhone user and you're sitting in Android, that video format's not always going to work. So we simplify that process across the board.
Awesome. So basically we're talking about video, email, or video text and video social media. And what I love about your product, because I am a user of it, is the fact that not only can I send out these nice graphically pleasing templates that house my video and allow me to brand myself. But if I want to get through more spam filters, I can actually use it as an attachment to my Gmail in my case. And then it goes out like a normal email, and you don't worry about so many of the spam filters because you've already theoretically been whitelisted to everyone you're emailing. Mm-hmm. So who is your typical client? Who's a user of BombBomb?
Yeah, so we work heavily in real estate. So we work a lot with real estate agents. That's probably about 60% of our users are in the real estate space. And then the other 40% is made up of people that are in mortgage and finance, sales professional. And really, we see across the board anyone that's looking to improve their communication because it's not just a unique problem that real estate agents are dealing with of getting in front of their people, their sphere of influence, whether those are leads, your past clients, your repeat and referral business. Everyone's looking for an edge to differentiate themselves because email is a noisy space. The last stat I saw, there's over 90 billion emails worldwide sent every single day. 90 billion. It's a very, very noisy space. And yet, year over year, it continues to be the highest ROI for digital marketing. For years, people have been saying email's dead. You got to move to social. You got to move to these other platforms, these other systems. But time and again, email is the place that you're going to get the best return on your investment. And the reason why is it's a direct channel of communication. Besides texting, where you have someone's phone number, and that's kind of a new world, and there's new things kind of coming there. But when you talk about social, you don't own that ability to communicate with people directly. A lot of times your exposure on social can be in the low single-digit percentage of potential of everybody that's in your sphere of influence. And yet in email, you see open rates where you're getting 20, 30%. A lot of times people think, was that good? Did I get a good open rate? And if you're getting above 20% on an email, you're crushing it. Because think about it, that's much more exposure than you're going to get digitally any other channel. And it's effectively free to be sending emails. You're not paying Facebook or Instagram or other social sites money to get that exposure. These are email addresses that you have that you can market to directly. So that's kind of that unique space when we begin thinking about email and our customer base is it's really people that are looking to find that ability to differentiate themselves, stand above the noise that's in the inbox, and get engagement, because that's the key. Everyone wants to measure open rates and whatnot, but if nobody's replying to you, you've got a bigger problem. You can have a 30% open rate, but if you're not creating conversations, there's a problem, and that's where video comes in, because you're able to start that conversation. People see your face, they hear from you, they're that much more likely to respond, which then ultimately leads to more business for you.
So with the and we were talking about this a little offline, with the video being added, you don't really have a way of measuring open rates as far as comparing it to a non-video email, but BombBomb does supply open rate. We have basically a dashboard that shows us not only who opened it, but actually who watched it versus who only opened it.
Right. Yeah. So, we can't correlate and say, hey, put a video in your email and you're going to get an increase in open rates, because what drives an open is your subject lines.
Good point.
And that's up to each person to create and put into play. So, there is kind of proven that having video in the subject line can help increase open rates, because people might be looking for that video, but that only is going to work a handful of times your sphere of influence. If you put a video in there every single time, people are going to catch on, and again, it just becomes noise. So you have to apply, the basic principles of good subject line writing to your marketing. Again, that's either one-to-one or one-to-many, because you're looking to stand out in that inbox. So, a couple practical things to think about when you're writing subject lines is it needs to be personal, it needs to be specific, and it has to create a sense of urgency. Those are the three driving factors. When someone comes into their inbox and they've got, 20 unopened emails, or sometimes I've seen, 10,000 unopened emails. You see those little notification icons on your mail app.
Yeah.
It's so overwhelming. How do I stand out? Those are the three things: specific, creating a sense of urgency, and personal. Use their name. And there's ways you can automate that. You don't have to type in everyone's name. But when you do those three things, that's going to increase someone's open, and then they're going to see that video, your smiling face, and they're going to be more likely to engage with you.
That's great advice. So now let me ask you a question, because this was actually my excuse, my apprehension, if you will, to video email originally is, as my co-host says, I've got a face for radio. I didn't like the way I look on camera, especially the older I get and the heavier set I get.
Yeah.
You get self-conscious, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I had to get over that. How do you get people past that? I'm being very candid with you about what kept me from doing it originally. Now I just do it because I figure they're going to meet me eventually and they're going to see what I look like. So, what's your advice though?
So there's a couple key things. One is to understand you're not alone. There's not a single person that gets on camera for the first time and thinks, my gosh, I love the way I look and sound, right? Like, even to this point, I've been at BombBomb for over 5 years. I've been in the communication space in a lot of different methods and mediums. And even now, I still can't go back and watch all of my videos because I think, my God, is that really what I sound like? Like, that's kind of annoying. Or I talk out of the side of my mouth instead of all these little things that we nitpick. And the reality is, a little bit of it is just some of that self-reflection of understanding, you know what? People still choose to do business with me. People still like me. I'm the one that's creating this barrier. And therefore, I got to kind of do a little bit of that work, that personal work, to get over it, get over myself. And that's hard, but you get there through practice. And so one of the things that I encourage people with is, so often we think about the video is like this magic bullet that we put in our chamber, and we think, okay, I'm going to wait for the right opportunity at the right time, and then I'm going to send them a video, and it's going to work. And the problem is you've not done any practice on shooting that bullet. So now the opportunity comes up, and you take a shot, and you miss it wide because you didn't do any of the work in the beginning. And so when we are onboarding our customers and helping people get comfortable on camera, we start at the basic and say, send one to your friends, send one to people that you're comfortable with. Just begin the process, because once you start practicing, you start to kind of get over yourself. You start to kind of learn those little things, those little ticks, those things that you do. You get better. And then as you get better, that confidence increases. But I can guarantee, like all things we know in business, that if you don't practice and you don't put a little bit of time into it, it's not just naturally going to happen. Now, the beautiful thing is social, things like stories on Instagram or going live like we are on Facebook now, is helping people get a little bit more comfortable by being on camera. Because when you go do a story, you pull your phone up, it is what it is in that moment, and you see people interact with you and you think, okay, this isn't that bad. It's the same way of using video to interact with your sphere of influence by sending them messages, by engaging with them on social. So you got to do the practice, and then as you do that practice, I promise the confidence will come. But here's the key. And here's the motivator, right? Because the only reason you ever practice anything is because you got a goal in mind and you have some motivation. And to me, this is one of the key motivators is right now, and the most recent stats we've seen, only 5% of real estate agents are actively using video in their business. 5%. Wow. So the opportunity is you've got 95% of the marketplace not doing something that is proven to influence your business and make an impact on your business. So now is the time, because your consumers aren't measuring you against anyone else.
That's a good point.
From a real estate agent. They don't know that you suck, okay? So there's no measurement in there right now. But the tides are turning. You're starting to see, 2018, a lot of people are in this space are saying, this is the year of video, this is the year of video. Anything that we know with marketing, it will become the norm. So you have the opportunity now to jump in and get ahead of the curve, or in 2 or 3 years, it is going to be the norm, and then you will be compared. Instead of it being a differentiator, it's an expectation. So my encouragement is let that be the motivator. Be the person that's going to differentiate yourself in your business. Do the hard work now, practice, get ahead, and then again, you stay ahead of that curve as it gets adopted within the marketplace.
Does BombBomb offer any training for people that are new to putting themselves on video?
We sure do. We do a lot. In fact, that was actually kind of my previous role here, was as the director of training and education. So, I have a team. We have a training academy that people can go through. We do a lot of webinars. We go live on Facebook. You go jump over and like our Facebook page. We do a show every other week where we're talking to video professionals who are implementing this in their business. So you see it happening on the ground. That's our goal. We can look like the professionals on video, but that doesn't matter because it's our job. What matters is how agents and other professionals are using video, and our goal is to highlight them and give you all of the tools that you need to be successful like they're successful. So we've got a lot of resources. Our blog is a great place to go as well. So we really try to help people overcome those barriers and those feelings.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break so we can listen to our wonderful sponsor, and then we'll be coming back and talking more about the use of video in your marketing with Jason Sheffield from BombBomb. We'll be right back. All right, we're coming back to the Mail Right Real Estate Agent Podcast Show. I am your host, Thomas J. Nelson. My co-host, Jonathan Denwood, is off this week, and we are having an engaging conversation with BombBomb's very own Jason Sheffield, who is sharing with us a lot of video strategies that apparently in the real estate world, only about 5% of us are using. So now's the time to get on board before it becomes the commonplace. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Jason, is what are you seeing realtors do that is brilliant? Let's just call it, what's standing out to you? Like what are the different applications you're seeing? And has anyone done anything that surprised you that you didn't think that they would use it for?
Good question. So, typically when you think about video in real estate, you think about the listing, you think about the product. And so that's been going on for a long time. Ways to do video to highlight the product, ways to highlight the home and get the house sold. And that's really been the key way that realtors have been thinking about video for the last 10 years or so. So, video is nothing new, and agents have been told they need to be using video. But the shift has been from selling a product to selling the individual. That why someone is going to buy a home or sell a home is more about who you are than the product itself. And that shift is a really important one to make sure that you fully understand. And I imagine your listeners get that, right? You haven't heard, you've heard this before. You are the brand. And so
Right.
what's really amazing of how we're starting to see people really leverage video is they're leveraging video to tell the story of who they are, right? Because ultimately that's what this is about. It's storytelling. Within marketing, you have to understand that the way you motivate someone is you're tapping into that worldview that they understand, and you tell them a story that aligns with that worldview. And that's the job. That's what you're trying to do, right? You got to understand your buyers and your sellers. What's their worldview? How are they perceiving this? And then when you tap into that and align with that, they're going to choose to work with you 9 times out of 10. It's a bit of a simplification, but what's key about that is video is an amazing medium to tell a story. And so what we're starting to see agents push into and do some really unique things is they're what I would call micro storytelling within their local area. And so when you think about video, far too often we try to measure it against like the YouTubes of the world, like the millions of views, the viral nature.
Right.
That stuff doesn't matter. And that's one of the things I want agents to hear across the board. Do not measure your views, likes. It's important, and you got to do those things. Make sure you're creating engagement content, but your content has to be hyper local, because the only people that matter that are engaging with it are the people that live in the areas that you work in. Who cares that someone in Florida sees your video if you're working in San Diego? So how do you take this and apply it to just the area that you're in? So the encouragement is, how do you become, others talk about like the idea of being a digital mayor. How do you own your area? And video and micro storytelling through video is the way to get that done. So we're seeing agents do that in some really brilliant ways. Some tactics like 30 for 30, the ESPN idea, their documentary saying, over the course of the next 30 days, I'm going to go interview 30 people in my area and create meaningful content. So I'm going to the coffee shops, the restaurants, the bars, the schools, the local government, and I'm just going to go talk to the people that make this area come to life, and I'm going to share that with my sphere of influence. It's one of the key ways to instantly differentiate yourself. And again, you can do that through email, you can do that through social, but by creating that engaging content on a hyper local level is going to be absolutely how you win, because no one's doing it. No one is taking the time. Google your neighborhood, see what's out there. How many people put together a YouTube video talking about why Pleasant Valley is the best kept secret of your area? That's the neighborhood I live in. If I were a real estate agent, I would do that in a heartbeat, because as a homeowner, I love our neighborhood. And frankly, I don't want anyone else knowing about it, but it's great for our property value. And so if I were an agent, where do you want to work? Go tell that story. It's not very hard. Highlight some key things. So that's some of the brilliance that we're seeing of how people are really doing that. Second part of your question is, what's some things that we've seen that we thought, oh my gosh, I didn't think you would do that. There's one, we call it the $40,000 video. The customer's name is Tom. And Tom was door knocking in a very expensive neighborhood, which is kind of hard to do in the first place. Not a lot of people do it. So he went knocking on the door. He had a brief conversation with someone. Somehow he got an email out of that person. And he sent him a video where he got all up in the camera, up his nose, broke every rule of how you should send a video out. And because he sent that follow-up with a horrible video, the person loved it because it was just Tom. Tom wasn't trying to be special or fancy. He was just being him. He ended up getting the listing, and his commission on that was $40K on a video that he should have never sent out because it's unprofessional. And I love it because ultimately that's what this is about. You got to be you. You got to be personal. You got to bring through your authenticity. And sometimes the videos aren't great, and sometimes they're not perfect. But the reality is consumers don't care. They want a real person to work with and someone they know, like, and trust. And as long as you're doing that in your videos, you're going to win.
Well, and I go back to the advice you gave about the rehearsal part. I mean, I work with accountability partners in my business where we maybe practice scripts. I could see where you would want to utilize someone like that to send those videos to, like you were saying, and get their feedback. Yeah. But also maybe a client you trust, and maybe a friend to get a variety of opinions. But once you got it down, I think what you're getting at too is that it's got to be naturally used. So you don't want to overthink it, overproduce it. And we're not talking a lot of expensive equipment here.
No.
I mean, I do everything with my iPhone
Yes.
and a camera stand with an iPhone adapter on it and a remote. So I can do, you know, the remote clicks on the video camera. I can talk to it, click it off, and bam, you know, and most PCs come with editing software. So
You
it's
know, and I think that's one of the things too, where people kind of get hung up on is they
yes.
think that you got to do all this extra work, or you got to have the right technology. Frankly, the phones we carry in our pockets have a exponentially better camera on them than you could buy 5 years ago. You'd be spending
Yep.
thousands of dollars to get the type of quality that we have. I mean, my new iPhone 10 shoots in 4K, better quality than anything else. And you can create it just by holding that. It's in your pocket. It's with you at all the time. So that's the other thing is we try to, to limit that. We talk a lot about in the moment marketing. So when you're sitting in the car, your car is one of the best places to record a video
Yep.
when you're not driving. Okay, so
Right, right. Well, let's make that clear. When you're not driving, we see a lot of
so,
realtors do that. By the way, they'll pull up to a listing and they shoot a quick video right
yeah.
there.
And the reason why your car is awesome, the lighting typically works really well for you.
Ah,
It kind of brings nice lighting on your face. The other thing is sound. Everything's enclosed, so you don't have to worry about a microphone or outside noises. So your
good
sound
point.
looks really good. And it's just a confined space. No one's watching you. You're kind of in the comfort of your car. And we find a lot of times, I encourage people, think about your car as your recruiting studio. Go out, sit in the car, record a handful of videos. And it's a great way to show people, again, that you're in the moment, you're busy, right? Even we've had agents go out and park their car, in front of the office and just do it outside and then come back in and send their videos out. But leverage that. That's always there. That's the best place you can start, is sitting in your car, recording a handful of videos.
Well, and I think the thing is that people, if they get in the mindset of what you brought up earlier, is it is a story, and these are little chapters. You're not trying to tell your entire story. So let's talk about length of video. What's an appropriate length of video?
Great question. So one of the things that we found is it's a little bit about the type of video that you're sending out. So when you're first communicating to your sphere of influence and you're starting with video, you want to limit your videos to a minute or less.
Okay.
And the reason why is you have not established trust with your sphere of influence that you're providing real value in that minute. And the why this is important is people are busy. And a minute, when you think about time, is a lot, especially when the average time someone spends on an email is 8 seconds. So someone opens an email, they spend 8 seconds, and they leave. That's the average attention span in the inbox. And why that's sad is the average attention span of a goldfish is 12 seconds. So sadly, we're doing worse in our attention span than goldfish. So you got 8 seconds to draw someone in. And if you ask for much more time than a minute in those initial videos, people aren't going to give it to you. So you got to limit it to a minute. But the good news is once you've established that trust, once you've shown them that you're providing them real value, you're talking to them, you're sharing important points, you can then extend that on beyond the minute and go 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and they're going to engage with you. So that's the thing that we talk about is there's no magic number, but in the beginning, you got to keep it less than a minute, establish that trust, because every video you send, you're training them to watch the next video.
Right.
So don't start with a 5-minute monologue to your sphere of influence.
Right.
People are not going to engage with you. Build the trust, then you can go in. So, we had one person, we can handle sending out up to an hour-long video. We don't limit our users on how long the videos can be in that way. So one of the things that we've seen is people sending walkthroughs of a home. We had one user who was working with someone living out of an RV, traveling the country, wanted a mountain property, and they couldn't do FaceTime. They couldn't do a live showing, through their phone. So he recorded a 15-minute video showing the entire property, got back to Wi-Fi. That's a keynote. Upload a 15-minute video on Wi-Fi or else it'll crush your data. Got it uploaded, sent it out, and the person bought the property sight unseen. Just purely from a 15-minute video walkthrough that he shot on his phone. So you can send longer videos, but again, establish the trust and then grow with it.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is work them up to it by showing that you're not wasting their time, essentially. And each time, these are well thought out as what the purpose and what I'm trying to accomplish. And initially, I'm trying to accomplish it in a minute or less.
Right. So a great way to start out to establish that trust is gratitude. Just send people a thank you.
Ah,
When you do that and you share gratitude with your sphere of influence, that creates an emotional connection. And once you've created that emotional connection, then they're going to trust you that much more. So thank yous or ways of sharing gratitude and happy birthdays or home anniversaries are the best way to get started with people,
oh,
because
that's a
who
great
doesn't want
idea.
to hear that, right? Who
Yeah.
doesn't want to hear, hey, you're awesome and I really appreciate you as a human being? We all want to hear that. That makes us feel good, and it helps us feel good saying it. Sharing a happy birthday with someone, instantly you stood out, because we live in the world of HBD, happy birthday. We can't even type it out anymore on Facebook. So
Yeah.
your wall fills up with a bunch of HBDs or silly memes. When you take the time to say, hey, I really appreciate you, and I'm glad you were born, glad you're here on earth with me, and that we get to share life together, happy birthday, that's a meaningful message. And then home anniversaries. Every single person in your sphere of influence, you should send a video to on their home anniversary, because likely you haven't communicated with them in the
Right.
near, last 6 months or 8 months. And just say, hey, I'm so glad you guys are in your property. I can't believe it's been 5 years since you've been there. Just remember, I'm always here to help. I know you don't always need me in the in-between, but when you do need something, I'm here as a resource. That's
Yep.
simple. You can share that message.
I'll share a couple things I use it for recently. Is right after New Year, I sent out a "You're Not Bugging Me" video, and I let everyone know that I'm in between selling and listing homes. I'm here as a resource for you. So,
Yeah.
don't hire that contractor until you check with me and see who I can recommend to you. And don't do those 3 projects until we can establish a priority
Yes.
list, because they might not all bring the same return on investment. So use me as a counselor or as a resource in between the transactions, because that's what I'm here for. And to remind people that you're not bugging me by calling me to do that. Another thing I use BombBomb for is my weekly listing updates.
Hmm.
Instead of just sending them stats typed out, I include a quick video to summarize my report of the week, and then I give them the details in the text, so that if I have someone that prefers to just hear my report, they're done. They don't need to read it. But if I have more of an engineer mind, they've got all the graphs and the numbers. But I've found that people are responding to that because they like the fact that they're hearing my voice and they're seeing me, and it's not just this generic thing that's going out that anyone could be sending, quite frankly.
Absolutely. And it's making you memorable, right? That's the key thing. When we think about the marketing and storytelling and all these things, and I know, we've worked with agents for a long time, and I've sat down and talked with a lot of agents. And one of the things I always hear is, Jason, this is just so overwhelming. It's so much. Where do I get started? What's the most important thing? What's the next right step? And to me, it's about this idea that you're talking about of just being memorable and caring for your sphere of influence, and not being so focused on the next lead and the next transaction,
Right.
and caring about the people that got you to the point where you're at. So when
Right.
you do that, and you create that interaction, and the beauty is, BombBomb makes it simple, right? That's our goal. We should be making this easy for you. So that instead
It
of taking a
really
bunch of
is.
time to edit and do all the work, it's 30 minutes of your week, and you're doing it once a month. That's going to make an impact on your business. And it's going to lead to bigger repeat and referral business, which is what every agent's really looking to grow in. And
Right.
that's the best way to scale your business, is scale your sphere of influence.
Well, and I learned through the last great depreciation of the market that the way to recession-proof your business is to maintain the relationships of the people that you've sold to in the past,
Yeah.
and always be there for them. And this is, like you were saying, a very simple way to remind them that you care about them more than just the transaction. You're relational. You're saying happy birthday. Hey, it's 5 years in your house. I bet you didn't realize today's your anniversary. Or here's some interesting information I found out in summary about this big new tax law that got
Yes.
passed. But
Yeah.
but let me break it down for you in a minute or less, type of thing. So, but those are the things that we do to strengthen the relationships. I always call it, I want to be your family doctor.
Mm.
You're not always sick, so you don't always need me, but you might need me for advice in between being sick. And when you're sick, isn't it good to know that not only I know what I'm doing, but I know you, which makes me know what I'm doing even better, because I know who you are.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we apply the Gary Vaynerchuk principle. I don't know how many of your listeners listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, but he came out with a book several years ago that really defines the content marketing world called jab, 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 hook. And the idea is saying that you can't just land hooks all of the time. You can't always be asking for the business.
Right.
And so when we talk to real estate agents who have always are kind of thinking about that repeat referral, hey, if you know anyone, I'm always here, always asking or always hooking can create a bit of fatigue. And so the way you get around that is for providing the jabs, right? And those jabs are those value adds. Those jabs are the things that there's no ask behind it. It's purely just real value that's being meaningful, that's focusing on the relationship. And you'll find also as an agent, when you're jabbing and landing the hook, you're more fit, you're more ready, right? Again, no boxer comes at it just laying a hook every single time.
Right.
So you gotta have that plan. You gotta know where your jabs fit in, because if you're always just asking, that's just the noise of the world. And frankly, consumers are tired of it.
Well, you raise a great point, because the, and getting back to like when you were mentioning about the birthday video or an anniversary video, something that's personal should remain personal. I don't ask for business when I send someone a birthday wish. I don't put my business card in a birthday card. I might put it in a thank you note, but I'm not going to put it in something like a wedding anniversary or the house anniversary. Maybe I might do that because it's business related, but the birthday is so that they, like you're saying, they get the jabs and the hooks. They understand that you're both a professional, but also a person.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the business. That's the business, right? That is real estate. It is a relational business.
That's right.
And you can't forget that because it's going to be the thing that, as you said, will build you and scale you into the goals that you're ultimately looking to achieve.
Well, Jason, I appreciate everything you've shared with our listeners and our viewers. We're going to continue the conversation for a few more minutes for our YouTube and video audience, but we're going to close out the audio portion of the podcast. So I want to give you an opportunity to re-identify and let people know how to get a hold of you if they want more information about BombBomb.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for the time. Hopefully it's been valuable. Hopefully you guys got some nuggets that will really help inspire you as you head into 2018 and using video. And if BombBomb is going to be one of the tools that you would use, we would love that. You can go to bombbomb.com, get set up with a free trial there, 14 days, test all this out, really see how it works, get it downloaded on your phone, get the process going, so moving forward. We've got a great team of people here that will really kind of help you go through that process. So head over to bombbomb.com. Of course, go to Facebook, like us there, go to Instagram, like us there. We're always creating some really meaningful content to help you elevate your video game. It's not always just about BombBomb. We would help you be better on video. And so if you're looking for resources, check those out. And then finally, our blog, bombbomb.com/blog, is a great resource written with tons of value that just will help you get a sense of some of the key ways that you can be leveraging video successfully in your business.
Awesome. And just to be safe, it's bomb.com. We're saying bomb. Just don't talk about it on an airplane. And folks, my name is Thomas J. Nelson. I'm a residential realtor here in beautiful San Diego, California, where I'm never too busy for your referrals. And you can find me on conveniently named thomasjnelsonrealtor.com. Facebook and LinkedIn are the other two places you'll find me most often online. And you can do the old-fashioned thing and call me or text me at 858-232-8722. We appreciate you stopping by the podcast this week. We'll be back with another fantastic guest next week. For those of you watching, come join us on YouTube or wherever you watch your videos. We'll continue the conversation there. But for now, we're saying goodbye, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right. So now I have a bonus question to ask you for our viewers, and that is getting back to what we were talking about, the uses of video for real estate. I want to talk about a pet peeve of mine, and I'm asking you for help. I can't stand it when an agent does a tour of a home and this is the living room, this is the dining room, it's like, okay, yeah, I see that. So what should we be talking about, and how should we be filming a tour of a home?
Great question. Hold on just a second.
Yep.
I have this in my office at all times. Every agent that is doing any sort of walkthrough needs one of these. Specifically, this is the DJI Osmo. It is a gimbal for your phone, meaning it's an image stabilizer. So this sits up like this, and your phone just slides in. Let me try to do it all in one hand. Phone slides in right there. What this does is it makes your videos look amazing, because there's nothing worse than the Blair Witch Project house walkthrough, where you're walking through and it's shaky and it doesn't highlight the home or you properly. So if that's one of your tactics, and you're selling homes and you want to do the walkthrough, don't pay a video professional to do that. They're just coming out with the second version of this, which is going to be cheaper. I think it's like $100, maybe 125 right now. They're in about the 300 range. But I wouldn't get one right now. I think the end of January, I saw they're coming out. DJI Osmo 2 is coming out. That will up your video game incredibly. It's amazing how professional your videos will look just using that tool. So keep that with you. The second thing is, when you do a property walkthrough, don't be Captain Obvious, to your point. I can see this. Tell me the story of the home. Why is it, what neighborhood? I can't see the neighborhood.
Right.
So tell me the story of the property. How long is this house? When was this house built? And not facts, right? Stories sell, facts tell, right? So sell me on the house. Tell me the story. Tell me what's a unique fact that you found from the homeowner. What's something that maybe I'm not going to find online or Google or looking through the images on Zillow or where, the MLS, whatever it is. Bring me real value that I can't find online. And when you do that, and it doesn't have to be complex, and frankly, if you don't have something, don't talk. Just do a walkthrough of the property. Let it speak for itself if you don't have anything to do that. But to me, that would be the antidote, right? Tell me a story. Think about, when you watch sports, the great broadcasters are the ones that can tell you the story of what's happening on the field. Not, hey, the running back went up the middle and was tackled, right? I saw that. Thank you. Tell me the story. Why was that important? Frankly, I get so annoyed at John Gruden. I'm going to go on a pet peeve here. I get annoyed at John Gruden as a sportscaster. You guys might agree or not. He's an NFL coach. He's getting ready to go to the Raiders. He's on ESPN as a sportscaster. But what I love about him, he brings true value as a coach. And he highlights things that I would never think about. I get annoyed with his voice, but he tells a story when he's broadcasting, and that's really valuable. So think about it from that way. Look at other storytellers. Look what other people are doing. Bring that value to your walkthrough. It's going to be way more engaging, and people are going to actually interact with you.
Well, and I would also add that I think it would be a good idea to walk through the house once and do a dry run through, practice one. Well, you brought this up earlier, and I think it's a great point. The first one might not be your best one, and you might think of things that you forgot to add, and listen to what you're putting out there. I see people do it Facebook Live, and that's the part that bugs me, because there is no retake. So, I mean, at least if you're doing it with video, you can preview it before you post it. But if you're going to go Facebook Live, then I would highly recommend doing a practice run through. And what better way to do it than with a BombBomb, because then you can reuse that and send that out as well, and in addition to the Facebook Live.
I think I just kind of wrap this up as a thought to this is that, again, far too often, people try to tell the story of the whole property through video. And frankly, that is a waste of your time and theirs. So think about the video of the property being a teaser. Tell one story. Tell the story of the kitchen, the living room, the backyard, whatever it is. Don't feel like you have to show the entire property, because if you show me the entire property, I make a judgment call whether or not that's a property I actually want to see as a consumer. And that goes both ways. Use this as a marketing piece to not only highlight the property, but you as an agent. That's real content. You can tell me a story about a property that I'm not involved with at all or could care less about. But if you're pushing that out to Facebook and social, you then are creating content that's evergreen. So when I start going to look for an agent, I'm going to see a feed of a lot of different videos, how you're telling stories and how you're selling properties. And ultimately, that's going to help you grow your business. So don't think about it always so limited as I got to show off the whole house and I got to fill all this airtime. Just tell the story of one room and then leave it with a call to action that says, I would love to highlight the rest of this property for you. You can find all my information below, and we can schedule a showing so you can see it in person. So keep it simple and highlight one thing versus trying to tell the entire story.
That's excellent advice, because I think that's advice that came from one of your you highlighted some of the best video or
Yes.
realtors using video of 2017, and I believe that was some advice that they gave too.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is not just me. I've never done a walkthrough of a property. I'm only taking what I'm seeing happen in the marketplace and retelling their story. And so if anyone's interested, you can just go in and Google RE video influencers or real estate video influencers. We put together a guide that has over 50 of the top agents in the United States using video across all sorts of categories: community, home walkthroughs, open houses. And you can see practically how they're using video in their business with practical tips that are in there. It's a great value add. We put a lot of effort into it to bring that value specifically to the real estate space. So go check that out, Real Estate Video Influencers Guide, and you're going to find a lot of really key things that you can be doing in your business with video.
Awesome. Well, one question I want to ask you, is there a question I should have asked you that I didn't?
Great question. I think we covered a good broad everything from getting comfortable on camera to some real practical ways to be using it in your business. So I think we covered a lot of the gamut, the things that I care a lot about and hope to see people be successful in.
Well, and we have a large real estate audience that we have a lot of entrepreneurs that join us too. And as you stated at the beginning of the show, this isn't limited to real estate.
Yes.
It just happens to be the niche that you're serving most. But if anyone wants to get more information about this, Jason, how would they get a hold of you for that?
Yeah, you can send me an email at jason@bombbomb.com. I may not always be the best person to answer your questions, but I will find someone that is if it's not me. So you can always send me an email, jason@bombbomb.com, be able to forward that on. Again, go check us out on social, go to the website, bombbomb.com, and you'll find all the resources that you need to get set up and be successful.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thanks again for your time. You've not only been fantastic to work with as a BombBomb user, but I really appreciate you sharing your time and talent with our audience today.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Jason Sheffield joining us from BombBomb. That's BOMB.com for your video, your social, and your text email and video production. The show is going to be something that we share with you on a weekly basis as a bonus content on YouTube. So always check us out here. You can find us on the MailRight Real Estate Agent Podcast Show on iTunes, as well as YouTube, and the MailRight Real Estate Agent Show podcast site, and of course on Facebook. So there's plenty of places to check us out, whether you want to watch or listen or a little bit of both. But we appreciate you joining us each week, and we'll be back next week with another fantastic guest. Once again, Jason, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time and attention.
All right.
All right. We offline?
We are off Facebook, and I am stopping.